Hey guys, Elite Legionarii here, and today I'm bringing you it was a 2 versus 2 siege, but it ended up being a 1 versus 1 siege. And I'll show you why in a moment. I'm in command of Denmark. I was teamed up with an old medieval 2 chap, Rambo FB, who is Scotland, but he, at the time the game was a little bit laggy. He didn't want to play it with that much lag, and neither did the two opponents are Beragond, who is the Byzantine Empire, and the other player is also the Byzantine Empire, and his name is Evan the Killer. Rambo and Evan didn't want to stay and fight in this condition, but me and Beragond did, so it turns into a 1 versus 1. So right now I command Denmark, and he's going to bring his cataphracts out to make a charge. I'm going to intercept with my 2 cavalry units. We're getting a bit snagged up on the towers out here, but for now it's a pretty even battle. But I'm going to come and bring it. I'm also going to bring in one of my Huskarls. Love Denmark, a great infantry faction. I've got 5 units of Huskarls, a dismounted feudal knight, 4 Norse archers. This was an early period battle if I remember. 2 peasants to tow the towers and 2 feudal knights, mounted feudal knights to assist in case there was this sort of thing happen where he strikes with his cavalry. I would have been a bit of bother if I had none. His army was bigger than mine, more upgraded.
Like the coward he is, strike hard and break the spirit of his army.
So his ally even admits defeat, but that's not a concern because by this point Rambo had left the game. But it would seem like I have an ally and he doesn't. But Scotland, once the AI takes control of an army, once someone leaves, the CPU will never move in an online medieval 2 game. This Scottish army doesn't move at all. The only things that does anything is these catapults shoot these walls. That's it. This army, as you see them now, they don't move an inch from this formation they're in now, this entire game. So it's just me and Beragond fighting, so it's a fair 1 versus 1 that way. Otherwise,
you must act now.
If the Scottish CPU started to move and stuff, I would have quit because I wouldn't have been fair. But because it doesn't do anything, it's not going to. So he made several strikes at me with his cataphracts, and I repelled them all. And most of his cataphracts destroyed. He's still got several Byzantine lances, some trebas and archers for his main arch contingent, and several units of Varangian guard. But my archers were not actually performing. They were sort of they continued to walk for some reason. They wouldn't find range, they just kept walking, so I'm going to pull them out back like that and wait for him to strike again. I'm just making multiple entry points for my catapults. Catapults are not very accurate, and again this was an early period game, so I couldn't get any cannons. So the retreating forces of Evan the Killer will just stay there. They'll nullify, they don't do anything this fight. So they just sit there, and the Scottish army just sits here. And that's it. So it's just me and Beragond fighting each other. So it turns from basically a 2 versus 2 siege into a 1 versus 1. But again, there was just it wasn't like real bad lag, but the Rambo and Evan just didn't want to play it, so they just dumped it. But me and Beragond decided to stay and duke it out. Every time I play a siege, I always like to have multiple entry points and destroy several of the towers if possible. That way it makes the job a lot easier of getting into the city without taking huge casualties or getting snagged up on one entry point. So that's going to be quite hard to do with just 1 catapult unit. But
excellent. We have breached our enemy's walls.
So I managed to get 1 entry in, so now I'm going to work in over here, and then I'll work on these 2 towers. That was really what I want to do. So I might be able to get you a better look at his forces. Oddly enough, he moved his archers off the walls. Now, ordinarily, that might not be a bad idea if there's lots of artillery, but there's only 1 artillery, so he didn't need to remove all of them off the walls. But also, if you put them right next to the towers, they can avoid being hit anyway. So that was interesting. So his army, as you can see, Byzantine Lance is actually quite a cool looking unit. I think he had about 4 trebas and archers, and he's got 1. I can look at the flags, can't I? 1, 2. Let's see. Was it 2 Varangian guards? It was 4 Trebs and Archers, and I think it was like 4 Cataphracts. Probably far too much cavalry for a defensive force. I wouldn't bother with cavalry in a defensive force really. Maybe 1 or 2 if you see a quick opening. They're quite useful there. But the attacking person is probably better to have the cavalry. As you can see, Scotland does nothing. The whole game isn't going to move at all. The artillery will fire, but they'll only be hitting the walls. They won't be hitting anything else, so that makes it a fair game because it's just going to be me and Beragond. So he's got a couple of Byzantine cavalry as his horse archers, and I think he had 4 cataphracts, 2 of which I destroyed in his quick assault, but it wasn't without taking quite a few casualties of my own knights.
We need to act.
So I'm going to try again to bring my archers up, but you'll see what I mean. They were kind of glitching. Not glitching necessarily, but sometimes in a siege what will happen is they'll find the range, they'll keep walking forward. Sometimes I've had archers walk right up to the walls, even though, and they still won't fire, even though they've found the range. That happens sometimes on Rome Total War as well.
Saints, our enemy's gates are down.
So the Scottish breached their side of the wall, but that's all they'll do. Their army doesn't move an inch, like I said. So I bring my men up, and he's going to try and come at me with some of his infantry. So he's actually going to come right out of the out and fight me, which is kind of odd. So I'm just going to pull my archers back and let him do that. So I'm beginning to make more entry points over here. And here is just, while his men are out here, my archers will have the range to destroy them from where they are, so I'm going to make nice work on targeting them. And you might notice whenever I siege, most of my siege gear is always getting towed by peasants. The reason for that is when siege gear gets moved toward the walls, it usually becomes a centre of attention for the enemy's archers and other missile contingents. So if they're going to get destroyed, at least it's not high quality units that are towing them, getting destroyed with them. So that's why I use that. So he's going to come out with his cav in the attempt to make a quick strike. I'm going to get my cavalry in, stop him before he can actually get there. So my archers are fine. But I'm going to withdraw them back behind my towers in my line anyway. So I managed to rout more of his cataphracts, at which point I'm bringing in my heavy infantry now, my Huskarls with the armour-piercing axe.
Men are winning the battle. Our men are under attack. We need to act.
And I've also, of course, got the chivalric knight just for some extra meat there. I want meat, some extra power. So I'm going to come in, engage a few from the front, here on the side, here and here, and I'm going to come around and outflank. And I've kept my generals, I think I have. No, I haven't. But I've sent 2 of my men around here, and I'm going to encircle him and try and trap him. I'm going to use my cavalry and fast, quick, decisive strikes into his flank. And that, as you always know in my previous videos, is a very deadly way to kick some serious heavy infantry backside, is to use heavy cavalry strikes. But I'm going to come around the flank here. I will be getting shot a little bit by archer fire, but I'm not quite bothered.
He must act now.
If I can destroy his infantry here, I got quite a good hit with my catapults there. If I can encircle his infantry and destroy him, I can just easily just walk into the city unopposed. So I'm willing to let that happen. So his men are doing quite well, but they are now, as you can see, outflanked and about to be destroyed by my Danish forces. It'd be hard pressed to find a faction that's as good at infantry as Denmarkers, although there are factions out there that do have better infantry than Denmark. Denmark's got quite a high variety of them, particularly in the two-handed units department, although having said that, because of the glitch of two-handed units, they're not as effective as they otherwise would be. Different story again, the kingdoms though.
They have lost half their men.
So a full encirclement here, and plenty of missile fire being expended. But I do see some of these troops and archers out here, and I would have used my cavalry otherwise to destroy them, but I want to quickly get rid of these Byzantine infantry. Here it brings in some more, but I just turn around to face that, so it's not really a factor.
We need to act.
So very odd manoeuvre to just ditch the city and come out like that. It can be useful if you do it really well, but in this case it was kind of easy to anticipate the timing on it. and I was able to easily destroy him before he could really do as much damage as he would have liked.
Only half of our force remains.
So Norse archers are really cool. Well, a lot of the archers in this game are similar in appearance, but Norse ones are pretty good. Getting plenty of missile fire there. And I'm going to quickly rush back and reform, basically. As you can see, like I said, Scotland will not move. It's a strange thing. If you get in a online game and someone just leaves in the middle of the battle for whatever reason, that army, the CPU takes over, but it doesn't do anything. I remember we did this battle and our armies were all encircling the Scottish army, or one army or something or other one time, just standing there, and they did nothing. So it's strange, and looks like my Huscarls are having a good time there for their success. They quite decisively won that battle. There's still at least some of them are over half strength, while that Byzantine infantry is destroyed. And here's a unit of lancers, dismounted lancers coming in. And these Byzantine cavalry are going to be a nuisance, so I need to get my archers into position to get rid of them. But I don't want them shooting the flanks of my men, so here I'm going to intercept his remaining men. So a lot of dead Byzantine units there, with a few tossed and Danish ones, but definitely far more Byzantine than my guys, rather. So he's got his Byzantine cavalry, missile cavalry here, but that's going to be picked apart by my archers unless he gets into Cantad Circle, which could be a nuisance. So here's this group of cavalry though, his general's bodyguard, and this is quite dangerous because this unit does a heap of damage to my infantry, and as my cavalry is no longer strong enough to absorb it and do anything about it, I have to deal with it. So you watch.
We have breached our enemy's walls.
You just watch how many casualties I take here. I charge just to try and do as much damage as possible, but I lose
we need to act.
A great deal of men to this charge. But now that I've got his guys trapped, his general's trapped, I can kill his general. It will be a pretty much surefire victory from here. So I'm going to get in there quickly. His general's still doing really well. And I lost probably a good 40 to 50 men in that charge, in this ensuing fight afterwards. So very deeply then. So here's his general right there. I'm fighting like a madman.
If we remain true and steadfast, victory will be ours.
So he's trying to pull out now.
Our men are under attack. We must act now.
Here he is here. I'm trying to catch the moment my men destroy him. He can't get out of there, he's all trapped in.
The enemy general is no true man. Mighty Lord above, we have captured the enemy's general. That will teach the cowardly dog to turn tail and run. So
as you can see, a lot of my Huscarls are at about 20 men now. They're at about 7 and 10 and things. So that cavalry charge was quite devastating, really. But all he's got left now is these Trebors and archers. So yeah, I mean, I'm going to send this unit in here, minus this tower unit in, so I can catch this wall, so when I approach, these towers won't fire at me. And I will use my units to, my archers to fire at his archers, basically. And these guys have done well in this fight because they've been able to get people to come towards them. But on the approach, archers don't do nearly as well firing up onto the walls usually, unless they've got the final range. So I'm trying to hit some of the towers, but again, if you look at Scotland, they just haven't moved at all. Kind of annoying, in fact. Not that it matters, I'm glad they didn't move in this fight because that would have been unfair, but if it had been a like if Evan had stayed in the fight, I would have wanted them to move, because that means Evan could have just helped Beragond fight me if he had stayed. So thankfully he actually left as well. So it just basically went from a 2 vs 2 to a 1 vs 1. So these guys are far less formed up than my archers, so they're going to be easy pickings. And he's trying to flame my some of my units, but Yeah, these Huskarls, not quite as good as Dismounted Feudal Knights in terms of stats, but they do have an armor piercing axe and they do look very awesome. House Guards, I believe, is what that means. If my memory serves me right, I think it's House Guards. You can correct me if I'm wrong though.
Our men are under attack. We must act now.
But I believe it's House Guards, but that's what Huskarls mean. The Huskarl cavalry's not too bad either, but I prefer North War clerics.
Towers have reached the walls. Now the butcher's red work begins.
But you can't beat them in early. This was an early period game, so I couldn't have them. But I kind of like the idea of playing an early period game. I might have to do some other. I might have to do some certain period games as well. The only reason I usually play all periods is because certain factions are just a lot stronger than others in a certain periods. So kind of in the all period, you can get every faction at their best, if you know what I mean. So here I'm going to charge in, and I'm just about to finish it now. And his archers now are rout, and he's going to send some out over here. They can actually run pretty fast, these troopers and archers, but I just want to let them go. I want to get in here and destroy the remainder of Beragond's forces. And I might just triple speed, guys, while I do this.
The Lord is with us today. We have captured the enemy's walls.
So I managed to get to the walls, and of course here my peasants are taking the walls, so those towers are not going to fire at me anymore, so I safely managed to get inside and destroy these Byzantine troops.
Like this, we will smash the enemy.
Destroy those Byzantine troops, and encroach on the town centre and make a nice killing as I do just that. I'm focusing missile fire on this last group of Byzantine trebbers and archers, which are actually quite good archers. A good sort of intermediate middle range archer unit is basically what I would call them. As my now heavy infantry move towards the centre, even though there's so much stuff in here, it's all just the routing units of even the killer, basically, who actually admitted defeat before he pressed the quick game button. So there's only a handful of Beragond's men actually left in the centre here, so my men just going to come in and they just stand there as they get massacred, even the troops, so they'll get a few extra free kills basically. And my men are celebrating their victory. And there's another unit out here which is about to rout. And that's pretty much just fight over.
If we remain true, and let victory be a salve upon our wounds.
And Beragond admits defeat.
Ours.
So that just turned into a nice little 1v1 siege between me and Beragond. As you can see, Scotland got absolutely no kills at all because it didn't move an inch. So, and even just admitted defeat, so he didn't get any kills either. So just a 1v1 between me and Beragond. I had 851 men, I had lost 499 men, had 352 left, but I killed 639 and captured 252, so that's for a total of around 900. Beragond had 881, he got lost 865 men, and he got 561, well 570 all up really. My Huskarls, my general unit didn't do flash, it's catch 15, but still didn't do all that flash. But this one did pretty good. This one did pretty even, but caught quite a lot. This one didn't do quite as good. This one, my catapult actually got 47 kills. Must have hit some of Beragond's archers on the walls. My Norse archers got quite a lot, 46, 68, 46. My Dismounted Feudal Knights got 75. My other archer got 54, and my two mounted horses got 45 and 48 respectively. So that was a pretty fun siege. Shame Rambo and Evan had to leave, but fortunately, because of the actual, even though it's a really crappy thing, the Scottish AI didn't do anything at all, so it just allowed me to have a fair fight against Beragond. So good game to him. Shame that you two others had to leave. I didn't think the lag was that bad, but whatever then. And I hope you guys enjoyed it, viewers. I hope it was fun, or whatever, just whatever you think you enjoy about it, feel free to leave comments. I like reading comments. Positive criticism, what is it, constructive criticism, I couldn't think of the word. I'm all up for reading that, and so feel free to leave whatever comments, as long as they're within reason, you know, guys, as long as there's no real bad language or swearing or whatever, anything like that. Just, you know, general fair stuff's all good. So many thanks for watching, guys. I hope you did enjoy, and I'll see you soon next time.